Good Monday morning. Ooh, I think my levels are high. Good Monday morning to you. Good after Black Friday. I always call it the aftermath. Every time I would go in stores, whether it was that Sunday or the Monday, it was always I always considered it the aftermath, if you will. How's everybody doing? How was your weekend? How was your weekend? How were your stores? If you were in stores, so that's a joke. Uh, I know you're all in stores this weekend. I want to know, how was your weekend? Um, Put in, if you can, if you have the opportunity, the ability, put in a lessons learned, something that you took away from this weekend. Because today's show, we're going to be talking about the winners and losers of the weekend. And there were several winners, and there were you know several losers for this weekend. I have something I wanted to definitely talk about here at the very end. So please stay tuned. Please stay tuned. So before we move into this, before we move into winners and losers, I do want to make sure that I would be very remiss if I didn't talk about the campus. Campuses are our senior retail leader learning community that is going to be launching on January 10th. Super excited about it. It is that opportunity for you as a leader to get transformative resources to help you along your leadership journey. One of the things that we all know is that the corporate training and learning and development falls short for retail leaders to get them from where they are to where it is they want to be. Our goal has always been to bridge that gap for you, from a resource standpoint, a training standpoint, addressing a lot of those unspoken issues that you deal with every day what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing a lot of leaders that are trying to solve for a problem that they don't really necessarily know that they have yet. Can you understand that? Please get that. A lot of times we are trying to solve for a problem that we haven't necessarily identified yet. The campus is that platform, is that place to help you kind of understand that problem that is uniquely yours that you need to solve for along your leadership journey. And then we provide, of course, the resources, the training, the coaching, the mentorship to help you with that. You can go to Worthy Campus, Worthy Retail Campus.com, and you will land on this page that talks to you and tells you a little bit more about the campus, the opportunity that we have right now to be our first 100 founding members of the campus. So excited about that. More to come, more information on that to come as well. All right, so let's move into this. Happy Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday sales are going to be crazy today, and here's why. I'm going to move right into one. I want to talk about. I do want to give you a little bit of inspiration. I never want to not give you some measure of inspiration to help you win your week. And so, what's important now? There is a book out, and I highly recommend it. I think it's in. If you were to connect with the campus, I actually have a resource that outlines my 10 books that every retail leader needs to read right now, and it's Essentialism by Greg McKeown. And in the book, they talk about this a lacrosse. I think he's a lacrosse coach, and he's won 700, maybe almost 800 games, and I think he's only lost like 3 or 4, which is crazy. And he was getting interviewed, and one of the things that they asked him, said, well, how have you been so successful? And he said, well, you know what? All of my players are focused in on winning, right? And he was like, well, of course, right? That's what athletes want. That's what they do. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said everybody on that team, everybody on that field, they are focused on what's important now. They're not thinking about social media. They're not thinking about their girlfriends. They're not thinking about anything else. They are strictly focused in on what's important now. And I loved when I read that book. I just I took it on, and I created a Steveism out of it, if you will. So, and I always want to talk to leaders in the context of what's important now to you. What's important now for you in your journey? What's important now after Black Friday for your stores, right? For your team. If we can't get a really good hold of understanding what's important now, then guess what? We are going to actually start to focus in on a lot of things that are not important, a lot of things that are not essential to us as a leader. So I want you to ask yourself, what's important now for you? What is that one thing that you need to be thinking about right now? What are those things that you need to stop thinking about that are not important, but you've been giving so much of your time and attention to, right? Those are the distractions. Those are the things that will actually hinder you from from your growth. I firmly believe that distractions hinder growth. And when we are able to narrow our focus, when we're able to focus on what's important now, guess what? Things become a lot more clear. Our purpose and intent actually has more purpose and intent. It's not just us trying to do things from a whimsical standpoint. We're really focused in on what's important now. So I just want to ask you that question, and you can answer it yourself. You can think about it, because as we move through the rest of Q4, guess what? What is this? Oh my gosh, we're going to be in December. We're going to be in December already at the end of this week, if I'm not mistaken. Fast. 2024 is coming up fast, right? And this is the perfect time for you to really start to hone in and think about what's important now for you. Be a little selfish. I hate that. I know as a leader, we're not really taught that, right? We're not really. No one really talks about being selfish a little bit as a leader. But I think for you to grow and for you to move to where it is that you want to be, you have to be a little selfish. So this is going to be your time for that, to do that. Let me know. Are you going to be selfish? Are you going to be selfish today? Who's going to be selfish? Give me a thumbs up and let me know if you're going to be selfish today so you can focus in on what's important for you right now. What's important for you right now. All right. I guess no one wants to be selfish. That's okay. I get it. I get it. Your team's watching, so you don't want to be selfish. You don't want anybody to know that you're selfish today. All right. So let's just focus in on the winners. There we go. We have some selfish people in the audience. Someone's gonna look back on this. they're gonna look at the replay. They're gonna be like, "What is he talking about? Why is he telling people to be selfish?" Yeah, as a leader, sometimes oh my gosh, there are a lot of selfish people out there today. Thank you. I appreciate that. I got more selfish people. It is blowing up over here on LinkedIn. We got a lot of selfish people going on. Thank you. So here we go. What's important now for you? So let's move it to the winners. Today's show is gonna be we are gonna rock and roll today. We're not gonna waste too much time just talking about just kind of idle things. Here are the winners from Black Friday and really for the weekend, right? Mobile and online dominance, right? 9.8 billion, up from 7.5 last year. Social media influencers had a massive role to play with Black Friday sales. And I'm talking about all three here in a second. And then discount hunting. People were searching and searching. I'm going to start from the bottom, then I'm going to move forward. People were searching for discounts all day long. Every report that I read, everything they were searching for discounts. And what I noticed too was that stores prior to Black Friday, stores of course were deeply discounting a lot of different things. You walked into the stores, they had a lot of sales signs, right? Everything. Actually, some stores didn't actually have some sales signs up. I was in a store. We were looking at something, and Sherry Jones and we were looking at something, and she was like, "Oh, this is awesome," and it was pretty decent price. Took it up to the register. It was actually 50% off, and of course, in my mind, it was like, well, there wasn't a sign there wasn't a sign anywhere in sight. So the director of stores in me just kind of like, started spazzing out a little bit. It was like, oh my gosh, well, what else in this store isn't signed properly? So people were looking for discounts. One of the things that I talked to Phil Elliott. Phil Elliott is, of course, the sponsor of the show there, Bellwether. We talked a lot about frugal shoppers, about shoppers who are actually going to start to think a little bit differently about how they shop. And our conversation was around the idea that it's okay to have frugal shoppers. Frugal shoppers they spend, but they spend with intentionality. And so when I think about discount hunting that the consumers were looking for today, that's exactly what they're doing. It's not the fact that they weren't spending. They wanted to spend on the right thing. And if you didn't have the right thing in your stores and it wasn't available, then guess what? They went somewhere else. Then we move into this idea around social media influencers. This has been over the last probably 4 to 5 years, maybe even a little bit longer than that. But dare I say, the last 4 to 5 years, companies who have this is very anecdotal. I can of course get some more implicit kind of stats for this as well. But what I have seen through the just kind of through the eyeball test is that I have seen more and more stores and companies actually, of course, move into this kind of creator economy and utilizing social media and influencers to actually kind of help, of course, with their brands and also promote for Black Friday and things along that line. Because of course, social media influencer people they carry, of course, a different measure of cachet. A lot of times, they are actually within that demographic that company is actually shooting for, or they want to try to penetrate. And so that's why they actually utilize, of course, the social media influencers. But here's the thing. The other thing that I have seen is that you as a multi-unit leader, right, helping your store managers and people within in your stores become those same influencers, right? I've seen certain companies, I've seen Target do it well. Actually, I've seen Ralph Lauren do it well in the context of they have actually empowered their team to actually become sort of the in-store social media influencers. And I think from a localization standpoint, remember that word localization, right? Um, it has actually paid dividends for them, right? Because it's almost a reporter, within a certain city reporting the news within that store, and it's only relevant to those people within that zip code or within that shopping sphere, if you will. And so, ensuring companies ensuring that you are actually utilizing your in-store influencers are extremely important, extremely important. Of course, and then mobile online dominance. You know, I I never want to be the one to say I told you so, but I told you so. When we were talking way back about data literacy, right? Those of you who have been with me for a while, doing these Monday morning Win Your Weeks, where I did the 3-part series on data literacy. One of the things that I started to talk heavily was around online, of course, and understanding, what's that impact for your store, in-store pickup, ship from store, all those different aspects that if we didn't pay attention to them at that point in time, this was maybe September, I want to say, maybe September, August, I think I did that. Um, and you had to set yourself up for exactly for Black Friday, and then of course today, which is Cyber Monday, right? So we are going to continue. We are going to continue to see an online dominance. We just will. It, it is. Who was I having a conversation with? We were just talking about. We were talking about the convenience factor of it. We were talking about the convenience factor of it. And so when you have online dominance and you have these three elements that are your winners. Of course, you actually do have a couple of losers. Let me just see if I have any comments in here. I just want to always refresh. Okay. Hey, Tobin, how are you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for saying good morning to me. I really appreciate from Germany, all the way from Germany. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you here. Of course, so you have some winners, and then of course, as always with everything, you have some losers. You have some losers. So doorbusters decline. Oh man, how many of you remember a good doorbuster? How many of you remember a good doorbuster? Gosh, I remember those. I remember like when I'm saying good doorbusters, I'm talking about those things that we actually had to have a sheet. Actually had to have stores actually have they had a sheet where they would actually you know go outside and actually talk to like the guests that were in line and ask them what they wanted, right? Because they also had the shopping guide for Black Friday, right? And then of course everybody had it circled, and the doorbusters were there. There are no more good doorbusters. I hate. Can I say that? Can I say that? All right. I always got to keep it honest with you guys. There's no more doorbusters. I mean, um, when I was living in Boston and about to move to Central New York, this was 2013, maybe 2012, something like that. I remember I purchased a 55-inch TV, 55-inch TV. I mean, I thought I was doing something. You know how much I paid for that TV? 2013, probably it was probably like $2,000, probably $2,000, maybe $2,200, right? For a 55-inch, and that thing was still thick, right? Not thick compared to today, right? And then it got to the point where those were the major doorbusters, those 55-inch. We have moved into. Can I just give you the reality? We have moved into a lot of things that have become commoditized. right? And I know I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but there are a lot of things that have become commoditized. And when things have become commoditized from a doorbuster standpoint, listen to me, I can get that. I can get that 55-inch now for 250 easily, easily 250, probably even better quality. And so doorbusters had a decline this year. And I think that's where I think as we start to think about 2024, retailers need a new strategy. We need a new strategy around the idea that there are no more killer apps. Remember that? Remember that phrase back in the day? There are no more killer apps. There are no more killer products. Right? Apple. I remember when Apple was the go-to product and around our electronics and around our electronics section area, we actually have to have numbers and people had to come up. You remember when people actually had to get their phones, and we actually had T-Mobile or AT&T at the booths, and they were signing people up at that time, and they actually had to have tickets. Those days are gone. Those days are gone. That is just the reality that we are in. So as a leader, you have to think differently. You have to think more strategically about your store. Retailers have to understand that wherever the shopper is, they will buy. I was talking to a good friend, actually not this Tobin, but another Tobin, who's over in Amsterdam, and I was telling him I remember when the internet first came into stores. How many of you remember that? Give me a thumbs up if you remember in retail when the internet first came into the store with when access for the customers. Massive, massive, massive deal. I remember I was working with Caribou Coffee when we first got internet into our cafes. Right, Starbucks was of course first, and then we finally got it into our cafes. But I remember the retailers, they finally had to capitulate, and they finally got it into the actual retail stores. That changed the entire dynamic. That it changed the entire dynamic of retail. A lot of people don't realize that, don't want to think about it. Right, it had changed the entire dynamic. Whenever I can come into a store now and I can compare prices, and I can go somewhere else, right? It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing that we're seeing right now as it relates to doorbusters, right? There we have to try and think about something different because everybody has a doorbusters. There are doorbusters all year long, all year long. How do we create? And I'm going to talk about this in my final thoughts here. How do we create experiences that focus in on the customer? Because what we have seen, this is going to be the second part of the losers, is the brick and mortar decreased traffic, massive, massive loss of traffic compared to last year, right? It when you have an increase in online sales, right? I'm preaching to the choir. We have an increase in online sales, right? Mobile, right? Of course, you're going to have a decrease in foot traffic. Why are people coming to your stores now? Why do I really feel the need to come to your store when I can actually purchase something online more conveniently? Where I can purchase it online, I can send my 14-year-old into the store to actually pick it up for me with my phone, and I don't have to get out the car. Right? This is why, dare I say, you don't lose the customers in that foot traffic in the fourth quarter. I think you lose that foot traffic throughout the course of the year because of poor experiences. Oh, that just helped a whole bunch of retailers out right there. That just helped a whole bunch of retail leaders out right there and retail companies. I don't believe you lose the foot traffic that the decrease in foot traffic on Black Friday or during fourth quarter. I think you lose it throughout the course of the year through improper service, through poor training, onboarding issues, gaps in assortment. Some companies are winning. Some companies are winning, but I'm talking about the retail industry in and of itself. We have to get out of this mentality that we can just kind of coast Q1, Q2, Q3, and then Q4. We really want to get our act together. I firmly don't believe it works. The customers are super savvy nowadays. Are super savvy. When I worked at Target, we had those of you who remember this, before an aisle would go on clearance. This was early 2000, maybe 2008, 2009, something like that. Before an aisle in a category would go on sale, there was like this little red. It was like this little red label that our in stocks team would go around stores, and they will put at the very base of the aisle. That was an indicator that for the in stocks team, and also for our logistics teams, that this aisle was going, and planogram team, that this aisle was going to be going on sale shortly. And what happened is that our customers, our guests, started to realize that, and they started to figure that thing out. And they would walk in our stores, and they would literally look for those red labels. They would literally look for those red labels. I said that to say is that we are not giving our customers enough credit. We are not giving them enough credit. They are extremely savvy shoppers. And we need to pay attention to that level of savviness, and we need to embrace it. And we need to be able to connect with that level of savviness and actually have conversations around that level of savviness of what are they looking for? What are the things that they may need differently from us? I can go on. What time is it? I'm going to go on. I can go on for that one, and I'm going to make sure that I don't have. Hey, Kareem, how you doing? Hey, Junaid, over on Facebook. Good to see you both. Appreciate you both for being here. And Tobin, sorry, these comments they just came up. So Tobin said, humor. People underutilize humor. I wonder why. I'm telling you, feel good experiences, community feeling, 100% expertise, personal connection, and I completely agree. Completely agree. So let's just go into a couple of thoughts around winners, around the winners and losers. What do you need to do as a leader right now? I am a firm believer of being preemptive as it relates to your communication, because if your team is savvy enough, they realize, they looked at the sales data, they looked at the conversion, they looked at the traffic, and they realize that things have changed this year compared to last year. They have changed this year compared to last year. How are you getting ahead of that conversation with them? What are you going to say to your team that's actually going to help them? Because there's some fear. Can I just be honest with you? When sales are down, right, and foot traffic is down, your team's whispering. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen in January? Right? How am I going to get this? Oh my gosh, what about my bills? Your team's whispering. Whether you want to say it or not, I'm here to tell you this right now. When sales are down, your team's whispering. As a leader, it's important for you to get ahead of the conversation, get ahead of the communication, right? To not be remiss in the reality of what's taking place. Yes, sales are down, but online sales are down. You actually have to make sure you paint that picture too, and how those online sales actually help with your market and help with the individual stores. Get ahead of the conversation. It's so important for you to do that. Double down on digital, right? Talked about this, several months ago, with data literacy. You have to double down on digital, and that means the amount of people that you are actually allocating, right? I didn't put it on here, but of course, the last 3 weeks when I talked about the Black Friday, one of the key elements that I spoke about was movement. And those of you who've been here for the last 3 weeks, you remember me talking about, it's about the movement of people, and it's about the movement of product. The movement of people, there's no time for complex. It is about the movement of people, and it's about the movement of product. And in this instance, when we start talking about double down to digital, it is about the movement of people to make sure to make sure that you actually have that those online orders are being satisfied as quickly as possible. That gun with all of those online orders and those mobile orders are being satisfied as quickly as possible. They have to be. They have to be. If you are not looking at your schedules differently as a regional director, that should be the first thing you talk about today on your call. That should be the first thing you talk about today in your call. Schedules. How are we looking at schedules differently? Drilling down into the digital sales data for each store. Fulfillment orders. What does that look like? Do we have enough people relative to the needs of the orders that are coming in? You have to think about these things. You have to think about these things because we just saw the traffic is going to be down. Traffic is going to be down. Was down over Black Friday. I still think traffic is going to be down kind of through Q4. This is why the last one that I want to talk about is experience. If you are not generating a great experience to within your stores, within your market, people are of course they're going to continue to shop online, but you're not giving them a reason to come into your stores. You're not giving them a reason. You are not giving them a reason. People are looking looking to get out and about and shop. They are. But people are more intentional and they want experience and they want service and they want the right products at the right time right in front of them. Right? Here's why, because there's too many other options that are out there. For you to think that you are the only game in town nowadays is hubris. It's hubris. It's pride. And you know what happens? Pride comes before a fall. You cannot think that you are the only game in town anymore. Gone are those days are gone. Those days are gone. Even high ticket products. High ticket products. Good morning, Aubrey. How are you doing? Even high ticket products. When there was a time when I was obsessed with watches, and and there was a watch that began with the R, ended with the X. I'll just put it to you like that. I was obsessed with them, and I didn't go into a store. Can I tell you this? I didn't go into a store to actually buy it. I actually went online to buy it. And I got the best service. And I got a guaranteed like watch because there was an option. And it was cheaper, even though they're super expensive, it was cheaper. But this person was a certified da. I said all I have to say is that it doesn't matter if it's detergent, or if it's a Tiffany, or if you can only get Tiffany and Tiffany, or it's a high value product, right? There are options, and how are you going to actually be able to position yourself and your company and your stores as that option, as that go-to option? Experience, and then here's the thing: when you can't over-index on experience and not have the actual product, right? So you have to actually have balance. And dare I say, product is almost infused into that experience. They're synonymous, right? You can't have an Instagrammable moment, but and not actually have the product for them to hold so that they can actually take that photo and actually and upload it. So experience, is associated with the idea around product. All right. I do have one last loser. I do have one last loser for today. And I told myself it was going to be short, but it's not. I do have one last loser for today. And hopefully those of you who have followed me may have seen a post that I did yesterday. I don't care. I do have one last loser. And that for me, that loser is At Home. And this is a company. It's a home goods store company. And I don't even know where they're based out of, but they have several stores. And this weekend, this weekend, uh, try my best not to get upset. This weekend, really good friends of mine, really good friends of mine, Anna and Fulgens, both live in Syracuse, New York. Anna is a well-known headshot photographer. She works for she has companies that where she's worked at Syracuse University. Um, Fulgens is a well-established content creator and also photographer, and coach and online and live stream coach. Two super dope and individuals. Um, Simply wanted to buy and purchase a tree, um, um, for Honest Studio, racially profiled for stealing, cohorting, or whatever it was. If you go into my profile, you'll see the story, and you can listen to the video. I'm not playing the video here. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Um, Retailers, we got to do better. I can't begin to tell you the number of times that I have been uh, I've lost count. I've lost count. Um, so while we talk about the winners and losers from a sales standpoint, and while we talk about the different dynamics around Black Friday, there are still certain things within retail that we still need to fix, that are still prevalent to this day. And we just have to we have to do better. We have to hold these companies to their foot to the fire, and they have to do something differently. The retail industry, we have to do something differently. We have to take accountability. And I couldn't let this lie. I did a post, and I also think there's been some resolution to this, but I didn't care if there was resolution or not. As a former retail exec, and as a black man, um, I felt it important for me to talk about this, because we can't just sit here and not say anything and allow situations like this, just because it's not in the news cycle anymore. It happens every single day. See, Anna and Fulgens, they have a voice, right? They have a really great following. They have a really great network, so they actually have a voice. But there are people who don't have a voice. There are people when this happens to each and every single day. So I wanted to just bring some attention to this, and hopefully, you will, uh, as a retail leader, you can maybe have a different conversation with your team. As a retail leader, as a retail company, you can have a different conversation with your team, with the people that boots on the ground. And listen to me. I understand the rigor of retail. I understand the rigor of the retail industry more than you think, more than you think. But there is no place. There is no place. There is no place for racial profiling. Happens to all of us. Happens to a lot. Excuse me. I use that. That's not happens to more people than you think. All right. So, uh, so next week we start something different. We are going to be talking about we're going to be talking about Q1. I know, right, Steve? We're in Q4. We're really going to be talking about Q1, and we're really going to get you prepared as a leader, right? The sales are going to be the sales, but we are going to get you prepared for what 2024 holds for you as a leader, right? We're going to talk about a couple of things that you need to continue to hold on to, and then we're going to talk about some things that you need to let go. Because I firmly believe how you start something is how you end something. You have to end strong, right? You have to finish strong. That allows you to start something even stronger. and we are going to get into a couple of things. I actually spoke about some of these things on a Thursday Live, but we're going to get more into depth of those, and then also talk about how to help you understand how to make a move, for you and your retail career for 2024. All right, let me just make sure. I want to refresh to see if we had any more comments or anything like that. No, we do not. All right, excellent. So please have a great rest of your week. Cyber Monday is going to be crazy. It's going to be hectic. So make sure your stores are prepared and staffed, and you as a leader, what are you going to be doing differently this week as you visit stores and you connect with your team? If you ever want to connect with me, you need some coaching, training, some mentorship, please go make sure you DM me over here on LinkedIn and over there on YouTube and Facebook. You can also just connect with me at worthyretail.com, and I look forward to talking to you. Have a great day, and God bless. Oh, let me make sure I got the right one. Have a great day. God bless.